You think you're funny, do you?
So I said to myself, I said, my Ragamuffins ever been to a 3D movie? Well, when you go to a regular movie, it's a flat screen. You have two dimensions, length and width. You've got a movie screen that's flat on the wall in front of you. When you have a third dimension, when you go to a 3D movie, it can be terrifying because the third dimension is depth and characters jump right out of the movie at the person watching. And it makes you feel like you are actually inside a box, the theater, where the whole world of the movie is taking place. So a third dimension has to deal with depth. So you've got length, width, and height. Those are the three dimensions we're going to look at today. So let's jump in. Horsing around with Lillian and Maddie. So they're both horse girls. The shape that we're going to concern ourselves with today is called a rectangular prism. It's a three-dimensional shape, the base of which is a rectangle. In this situation, Lily and Maddie were at the barn and they were about to feed their ponies some sugar cubes. The box that held the sugar cubes was 7 inches by 4 inches and it was 5 inches high. Now, the girls like to play and they're also very competitive. So Lily guessed that there were about 130 cubes inside the box and Maddie guessed around 150 sugar cubes. And they decided that the girl with the better estimate got to clean the dung, which is horse poop, off the other person's boots. Here's what we've got. We've got sugar cubes, a box that's 7 by 4 in the bottom and 5 inches high. Lily guessed 130 cubes and Maddie guessed 150. Better estimate one. Wait a second. If your prize is to clean the horse poop off your friend's boots, it better be the worst estimate that gets to do that mess. So that sign up there, that symbol, actually is used by alchemists that come up with special formulas to make good fertilizer. And fertilizer helps plants grow by amending the soil, and horse poop is the symbol that stands for. Here we're looking at the box from the top, and we've got 4 cubes down, and we have 7 columns of 4 cubes. 7 columns of 4 cubes makes me think of 7 groups of 4. If I have 7 groups of 4, I have 7 times 4, which equals 28 cubes. So in the top layer, in fact, in every layer of the box, I've got 28 cubes. The question is, how many layers do I have? Now we're looking at a side view, and it's 7 inches across the bottom, and it's 5 inches high. Now we know that we've got 5 layers of cubes. Let's make this three-dimensional, just so it can be clearer understood. That third dimension is depth, and it's 4 inches deep, looking at it from the side. We've got 4 inches across the bottom, 7 inches across the front face, and 5 inches vertically. My base is 7 by 4, which is 28 cubes. I know I have 5 inches high, which is 5 layers of 28 cubes. So with 28 cubes in that base layer and 5 inches for the total height, I know I've got 5 groups of 28, which makes me think of 5 times 28. Now, I don't know my 28 times tables. I could count by 5 28 times, but instead what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the distributive property and break the number 28 apart. So 5 times 28 makes me think of 5 times 20 plus 8, which is the same as 5 times 20 plus 5 times 8. Now, I know 25 times is equal to 100. And I know 5 times 8 is 40, the sum of which is 140 cubes. Now I know that 140 cubes fill that box. 140 cubes filled the box. Lily had guessed 130. Maddie had guessed 150. Turns out that each girl was 10 cubes away from the actual precise number. So neither girl won or neither girl lost. Each girl had to clean the horse dung off their own shoes. Volume equals length by width times height, or the base times the height. We were dealing with a rectangular prism, which is a box, and the base of the box was the length times the width. The third dimension, height, defined the rectangular prism, and we actually recorded the number of cubic units in that rectangular prism. And the rectangular prism is simply a two-dimensional shape stretched to a three-dimensional shape, the base of which is a rectangle. You're going to work this problem out yourself. We're going to give you different dimensions to a rectangular prism, and you can use either one of those two formulas to figure out what the volume is of that rectangular prism. Here we go. The dimensions are 4 feet by 8 feet by 5 feet. Notice in the previous example we had inches, now we have feet. So our answer is going to be in cubic feet. I want you to pause the video and work this one out by yourself. So we're back. Hopefully you worked the whole thing out on your own. We know that the base equals the length and the width of the shape. That's 4 by 8, which gives us 32. The volume is the base times the height. 5 times 30 plus 5 times 2. 5 times 30 is 150 plus 10. The sum is 160 cubic feet. The thing I really want you to remember here is that we're working with a three-dimensional shape. Yes, we talked about rectangular prisms, but you can actually find the volume of anything with 3 dimensions. You need length, width, and the third dimension, height. Sometimes you'll hear depth instead of width or height, but the bottom line is you need 3 dimensions. The units are always going to be in cubes. Cubic inches, cubic feet, cubic yards. Who knows, cubic miles, which is a ridiculous concept. That would be a cube that is 1 mile in each direction. Ridiculous. Hopefully, this makes the concept of volume a little bit clearer to you, and you can understand how there are real-world applications where it's really important to find out what the volume of the shape is. Hope that helps. Bye.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George. I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse. I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats to turn to a ghost. I need to know everything.